Assalamu alaikum, beloveds. I just wanted to quickly share about my special night of Qiyam. So, if any of you heard my talk on Hifz as a lifelong journey, or the one that I gave at the Hifz retreat on listening as a primary way of memorizing Quran, I talked about a very blessed night for me where I felt like I was singled out as one of Allah's servants. Last Ramadan, when I went for Qiyam, it was on the 25th night, 4 a.m. in the morning, and I went because my newly discovered favorite Qari was going to be the guest Qari that night. And I mentioned how it was very special because he recited Surah Ghafir, which was the last surah that I had memorized. So I just knew the surah really well and its meaning. And so it was just added to the very enjoyable experience of praying behind a qari with a very beautiful voice. He was reciting this surah that was special to me. So, so this year, trying to recreate those Jannah moments, I was looking forward to the last 10 nights, and I was looking forward to the schedule, because they get Qadis from around the Dallas area. And they do this in all the masjids. So everybody has their own schedule. And so, so this time it was kind of special because the night that Qari Muhammad Swilan, my favorite Qari, was reciting, it was also going to be Qari Ahmed Ali, who I kind of discovered within the past year. He's a young Somali brother. And very beautiful recitation. And I've also made a couple of recordings of him as well and used him in my memorization. So I was very excited, and it was like the beginning of this kind of confidence that Allah is going to make this a very beautiful night for me once again. But I just marvel at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that it was already so beautiful. So you think like, how can it be more beautiful? And it can. Allah is capable of making it even more beautiful. But still, you're just like, you just have to see it to believe it, right? So so the night comes, right? So, and also again, to say the significance of it though, let me just share something like sweet and beautiful that happened with my teacher, Ustad Khawla once. So when I was learning like Juz 28, right? And Juz, what Juz is that called? Not just Tabarak, that's just, I guess it's called the Sami Allah, that begins with Mujadila. So it has a lot of the ayats. They're called I want to say the Sabbihat, but they're the surahs that begin praising Allah. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. So one time when I started to recite for her, she stopped me after I said سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض, and she kind of giggled and said, "It's so beautiful. Like you never know which surah is going to be." It's like this anticipation. And then as you can continue reciting, and then the words are unique to that surah. And you're like, oh, it's that surah. So I remember she kind of just got excited about that and just mentioned it in the middle of my review. So, so now back to this past night. So I knew that, again, part of the magic and beauty of last Ramadan's special night was that I knew the surah. So there's like I guess a 30% chance now that I would know the surah if I did the math right. So I know, mashallah, 10 ajza. So I was like, that percentage, 10 out of 30, right? Yeah, that's 1/3. Yeah, so there was a third of a chance that I would know the surah that was being recited. But again, you just never know, and you never know, right? So when Qari Ahmed said, Hamim, Hamim, I said, Allah. I know in other words, so I've memorized all the Hamims because they're mainly in Juz 20. Well, they start in Juz 26. They're also in Juz 25. Yeah. So, I said, okay. I know I'm going to know the surah. Then he says, Tanzilul Kitab. I made a mistake. Tanzilu Kitabillahi. Tanzilu. No, what is it? Tanzilul Kitabillahi min az. I gotta look at it. I just said it with my son. Tanzilu. I'm nervous. Tanzilul Kitab. Tanzilul Kitabi min Allahil Azizil. Okay, so for instance, Surah Ahqaf. That's why I have my Musaf beside me. I'm not a Qari. But I'm striving. I'm striving to be a Hafida. So Surah Ahqaf. Hamim. Okay, I said it right the first, maybe partly. Hamim. Tanzilul Kitabi min Allahil Azizil Hakim. So, that Surah Al-Ahqaf, that's the first Hamim Surah that you learn. Okay, this video is being longer than I anticipated. Okay, so then the next one you learn, Jathia, is the same. Hamim. Tanzilul Kitabi min Allahil Azizil Hakim. And then they start to vary. Surah Dukhan, Hamim, wal Kitabil Mubin. And then Zukhraf next, is the same. Hamim, wal Kitabul, no, it's shorter, it's next. I don't know, I think Zukhraf, maybe I skipped over it. But you get the idea, right? Well, when you get to Ghafir, which might be the last Hamim Surah, I believe, that you memorize when you come from this direction. So this is what it is in Surah Ghafir. It's Hamim. Tanzilul Kitabi min Allahil Azizil Alim. غافر الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب ذي الطول لا إله إلا هو إليه المصير. So with Ghafir, instead of Tanzil al-Kitabi min Allah al-Aziz al-Hakim, it's al-Aziz al-Alim. So when Qari Ahmed said Alim, I was like, oh my gosh. Is he about to recite Surah Ghafir? He is reciting Surah Ghafir. It is the exact surah. The special surah, my special night last year. So then I just knew, I knew it was going down. I was like, again, Allah, you did this for me again. And so it was so beautiful. He did the Sudanese style. The popular Qari Nur Ain, he'll have mercy on him. He did that style. So, because I was like, it's a little bit different from Qari Ahmed's usual recitation. So I played a little bit for you there. So he recites 5 pages of surah, 4.5 pages of surah Ghafir, and I was very pleased. So then comes Qari Muhammad. May Allah preserve them all. Yeah. And now I'm like, what is he going to recite? He recites another favorite surah. He recites actually the surah right before Surah Ghafir, which is Surah Zumar. It's a surah that the Prophet ﷺ, he would recite every night before he went to bed. And it's my aspiration to do that. It's almost a hizb. It's 9 pages. And I don't do that. I haven't been able to establish that practice, but the sunnah, it inspires me. So I try to recite this surah in the night. Usually it's in the morning, but still at night, I try to recite, or at least half of it. So yeah, I still end up just probably reciting this surah just once or twice a week, but I try. So anyway, though, it's a surah that I work on. It's one of my favorite ones, but it's Zumar. It's the one that you know about the crowds at the end, those that are going to be, the disbelievers are going to be in crowds driven to the hellfire, and the believers driven to paradise. And it's one that we talked about in the group because there's the wa in there, the difference between the way that the gates are going to be gently open for the believers and abruptly opened for the disbelievers. Or another interpretation too is that wa indicates that the believers don't have to wait, and the disbelievers, they have to wait. So we talked about that in the group. So that was, so when he started towards the end of Surah Zumar. He started with ayat, very popular ayat, very moving, touching ayat about Allah being most forgiving. So when he started there, I was like, oh, Surah Zumar. Okay, and so it was really beautiful, his recitation, as you know, alhamdulillah, as you know, I feel. And then what was really, really special though, and really beautiful about the night was his witr, the dua. Mashallah, it was, we were just shaken. We were just so moved. And it was particularly the part, he went for a long time, very into it, very emotional. But it was one part that really got me was when he made the dua about the Quran being the spring of our hearts and it like removing our distresses. And I was just like, Allah, it was such a beautiful night. And so I just left it thinking like, how could Allah make it more beautiful? And he did. And he actually sent me a companion too. So, you know, a lot of the spaces that I'm in, I'm new to Dallas, still relatively new. And I don't know a lot of people at the masjid, especially compared to where I come from, Atlanta. So, and it's fine. I'm not trying to find belonging in the masjid at my age. But it's still nice to see people you know, right? And so the sister, there was a Sudanese family, mother and daughter, they prayed next to me. And my sons used to be carpool mates with her sons. And I only met her once, so I wasn't quite sure at first if it was her. And then I was like, oh, no, I think that's her. And it was indeed her. And then her daughter was there. Her daughter recited one of the Quran nights, and I share one of her recitations, but I had never met the daughter before. So they prayed right next to me, and so that was beautiful as well. So alhamdulillah, a very touching Jannah moments. May Allah increase us in them, and thank you for listening, and may Allah accept all of our worship, answer all of our dua, and may we reach Ramadan next year. Ameen, ameen.